what we'll talk about in a second is our launch of Omni. And as you can tell, it's a combination of conversational AI and machine learning. And for many of us who are in HR, you may say, "Well, it looks like a bot." I assure you, it is. It's significantly more enhanced than what many of us who in the past have experienced as a bot. In fact, we had a bot prior to Omni, and its name was Emma. And I can assure you, we retired Emma with great fanfare and brought on Omni, and it's been a game changer for us. But let me make that connection really quickly between the evolution of the HR function and then the launching of Omni. So we did have the ability, as I mentioned earlier, to look at all the tasks. We were able to get very close to what was defined as best in class in terms of where our HR leaders spent their time, meaning what percent of it was more strategic in nature, higher value added versus which of it was operational. And what we found is all of the tasks that were being identified would either go to two places: one, to our shared service center, which we have three of those by region, or it could be incorporated into activities, or let's call them virtual tasks that Omni could do on our behalf. And so we created that opportunity to be able to provide strategic support. So for us, you may have seen on the prior slide, we had roughly about 1,000 members of the HR team globally. And so what it allowed us to do is take a large percent of them and have them be more focused on what I would call strategic elements of it. So today, well, let's talk about prior. Prior to Omni, our HR leaders supported anyone who was a people manager. So think of a supervisor, maybe in our manufacturing plant or perhaps in our branches. And for context, we have roughly 100,000 employees globally. And so they were engaging and they were quote unquote, adding value, but in my opinion, lower added value type work. And now with Omni fully deployed, what we have is our HR business partners are exclusively focused on our VPs and above. And maybe should be clear about why. Not because our VPs are more important than our frontliners. In fact, it's that's not the case. But we wanted our HR business partners dedicated to our VPs and above because that's where a lot of the strategic guidance that's provided by the global business to the field is generated. So we want to make sure our HR partners are able to sit at that table and provide the strategic insight they should, whether it's around organizational design that allows us to, as we evolve our go-to-market strategy, maybe it's around change management and being that change agent to drive the outcomes needed as we evolve the operating model itself. Perhaps it's around HR analytics, where they're now able to do predictive analytics. So we come to the table like finance comes to the table with data, but in a meaningful way focused on people. And that's the power of strategic HR. So for our leaders who are, let's say, supervisors, managers, directors, they were not left unsupported because then Omni came in and Omni provided the same level of support, in fact, real time. The beauty of Omni for us is it is embedded within our team's environment. And so managers don't have to go to, although we value Workday, we appreciate Workday, it's a great system of record and has been wonderful for us, but it allows our managers to not have to go to multiple systems to engage and transact. So it's real time. They go to Omni within Teams if they choose. It allows them to engage with Omni, and you'll see here some of the things we've been able to leverage Omni for. So at its more core basic level, there are several actions today that we leverage Omni for. So approving vacation time or sick time or submitting tickets, which for us is huge because it's one less step for managers. But what I'm really, really excited about is some of what you'll see the coming soon, right? So the requisition approvals, the polling, the employee verification letter creation. This again is taking a lot more of what would have been the tactical work and allowing us to be more effective. And while we now have more dedicated business partners supporting, as I mentioned, our more senior strategic business leaders, the benefit of Omni is now we're also starting to optimize even our shared service center. So where we've been able to create these standardized processes that allow our shared service center members to make calls or complete tasks, to the extent that Omni can take that off their plate, that's even better for us. What we've also found have been a big hit are what we call the nudges. So a real life example would be we just completed our year-end self-assessment and performance management process. And in doing so, typically you'd have your manager who is completing an assessment of your performance and you're doing your own self-assessment. And we encourage both managers and employees to use Omni to help them rewrite their actual performance review. Now, clearly we were wanting them to give accurate data, right? The right numbers. Omni's not going to create that for you. but it can help you be more succinct. It can help you prioritize what were the most higher value added activities that you did. I've got to tell you, we've got a lot of positive fanfare, both from managers who used it, but also from employees who felt as if, wow, it significantly took a lot of time off of my plate to be able to narrate and then to create what they felt was a very compelling representation of what they had accomplished in that year. And you'll see there's a lot more to come for nudges for us, whether it's anniversary reminders for employees or live chat with agents real time. So we're really, really, really excited about it. And you'll see here, whether it's on the data side, integration side, the access side, we're continuing to expand Omni. And for those of you maybe who have a large European presence, as we do today, we did have to work through work councils. We did walk in detail with the level of support both from Moveworks and from Deloitte to talk about the benefits of the tool, to talk about how data privacy can be overcome or concerns around it at least can be overcome. And then you'll see there we're expanding to Germany, which by the way is only, I think, three of the global, of all of our countries within which we compete globally, that we have not turned Omni on because we needed to get the work council support. And so now we're excited to announce Germany, which is one of our largest presence in Europe, is now going to be up and running in November. So we're excited to see that come to fruition. And then last but not least is the integration with the Learning Hub and ECAS, and that for us is huge. We are a learning and continuous learning environment, and so we would encourage our managers, and we will nudging again through Omni to ensure that everyone's aware of what's required of them from a course curriculum development completion perspective. But also, what I love about it is the ability, and we encourage our employees to own your career. This frees them up to go to Omni to find what other courses may be available, learn it real time, and then apply it.